these jobs really don't care about you. Imagine clocking into work for a big corporation, dying at your desk, and then not being discovered until 4 days later.
A Tempe Wells Fargo employee died at her desk. And 12 News is now confirming that it may have taken as many as 4 days for anyone in the office to notice. If it wasn't for Tony.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning back in. I'm back with another video, and this is like a brand controversy video / news story / tragedy, right? And in this situation, in this case, I want to talk about an overall theme, right? A broad topic, but specifically related to this case in Arizona where a Wells Fargo employee was found dead 4 days after dying.
Police in Arizona investigate the death of a Wells Fargo worker found dead at her desk 4 days after clocking in.
You got that right. She clocked in to work for Wells Fargo. She worked at a cubicle. She was on the 3rd floor. And she died at her desk. How she died is unknown, but something happened to where she died at her desk, at her cubicle. She wasn't found until 4 days later by a random employee just walking around.
Yeah, authorities say the 60-year-old scanned her ID and entered the building back on August 16th. There were no scans in or out after that, and several employees reported a strong odor, but they believe it was linked to plumbing issues.
A fellow worker found the woman dead on the 3rd floor in an underpopulated part of that building.
And usually I see crazy news stories or really heartbreaking news stories like that, and I don't have an inclination to do a video about it because I feel like my channel was for certain things. But speaking about all the different brand controversies I did and how certain jobs, certain corporations, certain businesses treat their employees, like I said, it's not every business, it's not every location for that certain brand. But the fact that this is an overall theme, an overall topic that you'll find within these big corporations, you got thousands of employees working for these brands, working for these corporations, busting their ass, right? Working hard, 9 to 5s, 5 days a week, overtime, blood, sweat, and tears into these jobs. And compared to the people at the top, the people in corporate, they getting paid nickels and dimes, monopoly money, barely scraping by, barely making enough to get by. But that's the way this society is built. You know, the rich get richer, everyone under is just surviving. Some people have little peaks, but you know what I mean. The more I get into the story, the more I just be like, wow, some of these jobs really don't care about you.
Gabby, 4 days. I mean, this poor woman went 4 days undiscovered. It's hard to believe.
And that's a question many employees are asking themselves tonight.
And this may seem like such a bizarre case that she died at her desk and nobody discovered her until 4 days later. Meanwhile, this building is a popular building. A lot of people come in and out. 4 days, right? 96 hours of people going in and out the building, the cleaning people, this, that, managers, other employees. Nobody saw this lady dead at her desk until 4 days later.
Could somebody please make it make sense?
Other sad part to that is like, damn, she didn't have no coworkers that checked up on her. The cleaning people, were they doing their jobs? Nobody was in that area. And there's so many different excuses for why this happened. When you look it up, it's, oh, she was in a unpopulated part of the building. She was on the 3rd floor. She was at a part that nobody visited. Oh, half the people in her department, they do work from home. So she was like one of the only few ones there. Okay, but Wells Fargo, this is in a big building. Wells Fargo, y'all know that's like a big banking company. The lady died at her cubicle, and the fact that she was 60 years old. So imagine, I'm pretty sure she probably been working there for a while. She's in her 60s. Probably was a job that she didn't like, she didn't love. But you know how I feel like nowadays, this is most of us, you know, in our 20s and 30s, but people from our parents' generation, our parents' age, our grandparents' age, they may have worked jobs that they didn't really like, but they ended up staying there for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and then they retire. But then it's like after they retire, you know, they get their checks and stuff, but Do the company, some companies, they send you stuff like, oh, you've been with us for 20 years, here's a little la 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 la, here's a little da 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 da. And it's like, you worked 20 years for this company, and I was like, okay, what did you really get out of it, right? However it happened, she unfortunately passed away at the cubicle, was found just laying on her desk, and nobody thought to check up on her, not even her family. That's what I mean, like, this is another sad case where it's like, damn, her family didn't even report her missing, or she didn't have nobody besides the people she worked with, who obviously was like nonchalant about it, didn't even think twice about her, to be like, what happened to, where's my mother, where's my aunt, where's my grandmother? Like, that's crazy. And another thing with realizing with most of these jobs, most of these corporations, they will take your presence for granted. Your presence is taken for granted. You're just seen as another body, literally. You're just seen as another body to fulfill a position. In the grand scheme of things, you may grow close with the manager. You may have coworkers you know, associate with. Some you may get closer with outside of work, but you're just another body to them. The corporation, the business, the brand is up here. They need people working for them. Okay, you do that, you do this, you do that. You deal with the customers, da da da. The people in corporate, they come and make sure everything is right. Oh, fix that, fix this. Oh, that's doing okay. Fix this, fix that. They make decisions, they get the phone calls, they have the emails, they have the Zoom meetings. They get the top buck. The CEO, the SCOs, they get the top bucks. And like I said, this could have been an unexpected coincidence or just a tragic accident of her dying at her desk. But I take this to say, rest in peace to the lady that this happened to. And for everybody that's feel like they overworking themselves, they putting their blood, sweat, and tears into this job, they don't feel like it's really getting them nowhere, they feel stuck. Always prioritize your health first. These jobs don't care about you. No matter how close you get to the manager, your co-workers, if you feel something's wrong with your body, stay home. Literally. I feel like it was the reason I had to do this video. I just called out of work today. I just called out earlier today because I just felt tired. My body felt tired. I had enough wellness hours to use for my shift. I literally called out this morning because my body was tired. Now, this was early this morning, so I got enough energy to get up and do this video. Once I seen this article, something just clicked in me. I was like, wait. And after telling her this, after telling the manager that answered that I called out, first thing she said was, oh, Tony, you were supposed to close today.
Oh my God.
So in my head, I'm like, okay, you got to think realistically. She's the manager. She's looking at the thing. We'll see, okay, who's supposed to do what shifts? The closing shift is supposed to be like one of the most important shifts because you're wrapping up everything, right? But I'm like, immediately after that, she was like, oh, all right, I'm gonna put it in for you. Because I always come to work on time. I always do my job. I'm one of the most valued employees. I'm not just hyping myself up. Literally, you could tell when you just doing stuff to get by or when you're one of the most valued employees. But then it's like, being the most valued employee at your job, what does that really get you? All that really gets you is more work. Because it's like, oh, Tony's here? Oh, yeah, okay, we're going. It's that type of thing where it's like, because you're a valued employee, because you do what you got to do, they end up putting more work on you. Or they expect, oh, Tony, you got this. Oh, yeah, Tony, you got that.
Yeah. I don't want to hear that.
This morning I woke up, I was like, no. These jobs, no matter what kind of job it is, whether it's retail, nursing, this, that, or the third, teaching, you wonder why a lot of teachers are quitting. That's a whole nother video I'm about to do. These jobs will take advantage of you, right? You would think being a valued employee, you get a little of this, a little shout out, a little da-da, but all that does is add to your workload because it's Tony, it's such and such, it's such and such. They do what they're supposed to do. We know we can depend on them. They're reliable. That's why I'm telling y'all, I feel like this was just meant for me to make this video. Always prioritize your health before these jobs. If you feel sick, if you don't feel like, if you're not in that, call out. Do what you gotta do. Take care of your body, take care of yourself. Self-care. Take care of yourself before you worry about coming in for your shift for whatever time for this job that don't care about you.
The building has 24/7 security, and someone should have found Prudhomme sooner. The incident left several employees feeling scared and uneasy.
Another quick thing before I wrap up, because this is a publicized case, and this is getting so much media attention, Wells Fargo came out and said, oh, we're so deeply saddened about this. We're reaching out to the family to support them and whatever they need, basically alluding to the fact that they may cover like funeral expenses. But just think about this. Imagine all the employees around the world over the last few years, decades, that have died at these big jobs and corporations. And, you know, the corporations realize that people have died or whatever the case was. You think that they pay for the funeral expenses? These employees that put in work, blood, sweat, tears, time after time, 5 days a week, overtime, for years, for decades. Do you think that they cared enough to pay for the funeral expenses for these people that have worked to build their company up? No, only reason why Wells Fargo did that is because it's such a publicized case. I can tell you one story right now. A few years ago, right? Unfortunately, one of my coworkers, she passed away. But the most tragic thing about it is she passed away on Mother's Day of all days. And I remember we had like morning meetings, group meetings. They told us in the meeting, and it was like, oh, unfortunately, you know, they told us her name passed away, that. But then it was immediately, okay, our sale goals today are da-da-da-da-da. We need da-da-da-da-da. Our budget is da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, everybody's standing in a circle, or we looking around like, you just announced that somebody died. And I get it. It's a business. We got to run a business. But it was just the whole switch up like, unfortunately, da-da-da-da-da-da. She passed away, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, our sales goals today, our budget, da-da-da. It was just like, wow, a quick, okay, she died, but moving on. And it's just like that whole, you feel like you're in the Twilight Zone, like, wait, everybody looking around like, whoa, what?
I just have to go in the bush and weep. Really. I swear to God, I don't understand.
You could die today or tomorrow. They're just going to replace you.
You think you know, you have no idea.
This happened to the lady that it happened to at 60 years old, being discovered 4 days after dying. But what's going to happen? They're going to clean her desk, clean her cubicle out, and her position, probably looking for people to replace her position right now if they haven't already. That's how these jobs work. That's how these corporations work. They don't care about you. Unless you're an entrepreneur and you run your own business and you do this, you do that. These jobs don't care about you. I'm not saying to half-ass your job, to just do enough to get by. You know, if you're one of those hard workers, do what you got to do. Pay your bills, get your money, but take care of you first. And with that, guys, that was just a quick impromptu video because when I seen that article, it just pushed something in me to do this video. Maybe someone out there needs to hear this. And I really want to say rest in peace to the lady that just happened to in that Wells Fargo building in Arizona. This is just a tragedy to put all this time and effort, all this work, to be 60 years old, to die at your desk, and nobody even thinks about you. Nobody even cares enough to look after you, report you missing. You just dead at your desk for 4 days. And now it's just like a rest in peace to her. And I really want to get this discussion started in the comments. What do y'all think about this crazy news story? The fact that this lady died at her desk at this big corporation and nobody discovered her till 4 days later. What do y'all think about the current working environment, working ethics in today's generation? How hard do you work at your job? Do you do enough just to get by? Or are you like me where it's like, when you feel yourself almost burning out, you got to take those breaks. You got to take care of yourself before you put your all into these jobs that essentially don't care if you live or die. Any crazy experiences that y'all would like to share, let's talk about it down below. I'm pretty sure all of us can relate to this in some type of way, whether it's something we experienced, something we witnessed, something we heard about. Let's talk about this down below. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching and listening. I'll see y'all in the next video.